How to do a perfect taper fade on textured hair. What's going on, faded culture? My name is Sergio Barron and we are back with another haircut tutorial. Before we start, make sure y'all are subscribed to the channel and make sure y'all give it a like and drop a comment if y'all like this type of content. Now, before doing any haircut, I always suggest that you have a thorough consultation with your client so you have a true understanding of what it is that your client wants. And feel free to use pictures so that you can get an even better understanding and y'all make sure that y'all are both on the same page. But to start, I always reference that temple peak spot, which is right here where the hair lineup, the vertical bar, meets that arch right here by the eyebrow. That's that peak that I always reference on where to start my initial fade. Since this is a regular taper that we are doing, I always started from the temple peak and I make sure that I slant that first line to the top of the ear, being real soft with the lever closed on my clipper. Once it's set, go ahead and lay down that first initial guideline on the back as well. I try to aim that side guideline to the back to kind of reference on where to set in my back line, if that makes sense. And then just proceed with doing the exact same thing on the other side, from the top of the ear to that temple peak point for our first initial guideline all around the head. And then once you're done with that, we're gonna go ahead and open the lever on the clipper to come up about a ½ inch from where we previously were. So just make sure that you're coming up parallel to that previous line. Try not to get lost with your guidelines, and then also just make sure that you're setting them in as soft as possible. If you can see, I'm using more so the corner of the clipper because that's one thing that I like to keep in mind is as you're setting in your guides, you have to learn how to be soft with them. So as I'm setting them in, I like to think that I'm already trying to fade, if that makes sense. So we're setting in these soft guidelines or soft guides. A lot of times I don't want to emphasize on lines. It's just set these guides as soft as possible and flare out as you exit with the clipper so that you can leave them in as soft as possible. And this is just so that you can come back and take them out with ease and not have to struggle so much with having to blend them out. I'm gonna throw on the number 1 guard, still leaving that lever fully open, and then I'm gonna come up again about another ½ inch from where I previously left off. And again, using the same concept, being soft with it and acting as if I'm already trying to fade. So every time I exit with my clipper, I'm flaring out so that I can try to connect this side length to the top length of the hair. But just make sure that you're moving up and you're keeping your strokes about a ¼ inch to a ½ inch in space, if that makes sense. And just make sure that again you're moving parallel to the previous lines that you set, and then just proceed that on the back and the opposite side to continue setting up our taper. I'm consistently always getting asked if it's the same steps when cutting different textured hair. Like this one is more of an afro style textured hair, and as you see, as if you watch any of my previous videos, it's the same steps, but I am a little lighter with my approach, trying to flare out and fade the hair because it can get tricky and you can easily just take up your fade too high if you're not flaring out. So again, it's the same concept, it's just you got to learn how to be light with your fingers and flare out. Next, with the 1.5 guard lever fully open, I'm gonna start trying to utilize this hump that you see on the clipper guard. And then that's what I'm gonna do or use so that I can connect the side length of my taper to the top length of the hair. So as you see, I start with the clipper guard laid flat, and then I use the hump to help me scoop out and finish connecting to the top length. And I'm gonna do that all around so that we can finish connecting and creating the shape of our fade. And a quick reminder, guys, that we do offer an online mentorship. It's an online community as well of people that are just trying to grow and get better in the industry. So if y'all like to join, just check out the description of this video and y'all could join our school platform. We have a bunch of pre-recorded tutorials. You're able to upload your work so that we can critique it and better guide you on how to get better with your fades. And then we also take requests on there on certain issues or topics that you'd like us to cover. But next, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my half clip, lever position at 3/4, and we're gonna start blending these two guidelines that we created. As you can see, there's one at the bottom and then one right above it. We're gonna start taking off the one right above. And again, using the corner of the clipper, I'm gonna reference that a lot because in my opinion, that's what you need to use on the clipper to help you be a little more detailed when blending out your guides. So as you see here, I take my time being soft with it and still kind of utilizing that same concept of flaring out and trying to connect that line to the top length or to finish connecting the taper overall. So we want to soften that line as smooth as possible. Sometimes with this guard alone, you won't be able to finish softening up that line. So I'm gonna come back. Usually I'll come back with the one guard still in that lever 3/4 position to finish taking it out. But to start, just go ahead with this half clip using the corners and then just keeping your strokes kind of short, being soft with it, flaring out the clipper so that you're not pushing a line up. You should be softening it up and just stay right above that line to soften it up as much as possible. And also guys, feel free to use fadedculture15. That's our code at wahlpro.com to get a discount on any WAHL tools. If y'all know us, y'all know we like to use the senior and the detailers to cut hair. So if y'all like to try out their tools, go ahead and use that code so y'all can get save a little bit of money at checkout. But like I said, I'm gonna go ahead and throw on the number one guard. I'm gonna leave that lever still at that 3/4 spot and basically just getting rid of anything that half clip couldn't get rid of. So again, using the corners and then just fine tuning that second line to finish blending it into that taper. And if you find yourself left with a hard or harsh line with this one guard, that should be a note to self that maybe with your half clip you were setting or you weren't blending it out just right. So just try to change something. Maybe you got to be softer or you got to flick out a little more with the clipper guard. And it's going to be little tweaks like that and minor adjustments throughout your journey that you got to keep trying until you really understand what it is that you got to do to better help you create these fades. But again, with this one guard lever at 3/4, using the corner, being soft with it to finish blending out that second line. Also keep in mind that I'm consistently combing the hair back down or brushing it back down, especially with afro textured type of hair. A lot of times when we're cutting with this type of hair, it looks like you're just pushing the hair. So it's important that you keep brushing it down so that you can see what exactly it is that it's left to keep cutting. And now to erase the first guideline, starting again with the clipper lever closed. Remember, that's what we set it in with, but this time it's more so with the intent to blend it out. So I'm being more softer with it than I was when I was setting it in. I'm using more of the corner this time, and I'm just lightly blending it out. Next, I'm gonna open it to that 3/4 position, and then just move up a little bit higher than from where I left off with that clipper lever closed. So it's like a gradual blend that we're doing with this lever. The lever, that's what the lever is doing for you. It's helping you create that gradual blend. And you're each time just moving up a tad bit higher than from where you were previously at. Now, as you see here with the clipper lever fully open, I'm gonna finish blending in this first line and again continuously brushing down with my brush just to reset the hair and better see if I'm okay to move on or if I still need to touch up that area. By the time you get to the lever open, it should be minimal what you got to do. And again, if you find yourself having to do a lot with this lever position, that should be a note to self that you were being a little too harsh with the lever positions that you previously used. Then once you're satisfied with your side taper, go ahead and repeat the process on the back taper. Usually with longer areas like the back taper fades, I like to break down this last line into sections. So you'll see me here starting with just about 2 to 3 inches in space that I'm working on. Just using the exact same steps, lever closed, lever at 3/4, and then lever fully open, gradually opening that lever as I move up a little bit higher on the blend. And then once I'm satisfied with that area and space, I'll go ahead and proceed with doing the exact same thing in the middle, and then repeat again on the right side until the whole back taper is completed. And then again, just repeat the exact same steps on the right side of the taper so that we can finish connecting that line and move forward. And if y'all like these steps, guys, make sure y'all write them down and try them out. Let me know in the comments how they worked out for you. Or if you have your own way of fading, feel free to share them in the comments. I'm always open to hearing other people's ways of fading. It's always cool to bounce back ideas and just kind of learn from each other. You never know what you could pick up from another barber. That's one thing that I do really like from our online community, guys, is that we're always bouncing back ideas with each other. Even I, that been cutting for a long time, I can always pick up, and I look forward to picking up new techniques and things from other barbers. So if y'all like to try it out, guys, go ahead and check it out. It's a 7-day free trial, so you have nothing to lose. But once we're done with the fade, go ahead and follow it up with the trimmers just to get rid of the rest of the bottom of the hair before we come in with our electric shaver to get it really down to the skin. And one thing that I always do, especially with textured or curly hair clients, always ask them first if it's okay for you to use the electric shaver, only because when you have curly hair like this, you're more prone for ingrown hairs and razor bumps, because since the hair is curly, when it's trapped under the skin and you shave it, sometimes it just doesn't slide out the follicle or the root, so it gets stuck, and that's what creates a razor bump. So just kind of make sure you clear it out with your client just to make sure that it's cool that you go ahead and use that shaver. But as you see here, first I follow it up with the trimmer, get it all down to the skin as close as possible so that it can easily come, so that the shaver can easily come in and get it down to the skin. And keep in mind that I use the trimmer and the shaver as they were a pair of clippers. So the closer I am to the actual fade, I use them as I'm using a clipper. I use the corner of it and I'm being real soft with it. And anything under, I can afford to apply more pressure to get it really bald. And then I also use the back of my finger to feel the skin and kind of see if in which direction I need to use the shaver to really shave it down to the skin. After this, we're gonna go ahead and start prepping up the hairline. What I like to do sometimes is use a little bit of spritz. It kind of works as a hairspray just to really lock in the hairline. Comb it in or brush it in as you blow dry it, just to freeze the hair, and it helps you achieve just a sharper lineup. Try not to apply too much, because this could end up, like in the long term, clogging up your clippers, if that makes sense. So before you put your trimmers on it, just make sure that it's really dry to the touch, and then you'll notice how it's locked in and frozen, and it just helps you give a sharper lineup. And again, just take your time with your trimmers, guys. We want this lineup to be as sharp as possible. In my opinion, the lineup is what really makes a haircut pop. So when done right, you'll see how much more clean your fades will look. You have to find the balance of not pushing it too far back, but not staying too natural, in my opinion. Because if you're too natural, the hairline just doesn't look as sharp. But if you push it too much back, then your client's gonna have too much regrowth, and it just looks funny, and nobody likes too much regrowth. It just looks ugly, and it just it's gonna look like you need a haircut very, very fast within the next couple days, because there's too much hair growing back out. And And if you're iffy on where to start, guys, just start kind of more in and then work, and then you could push it back a little at a time till it looks just right, if that makes sense. And then I recommend that you basically set your line and then scrape inwards as opposed to pushing with your trimmer outwards. Sometimes when you push outwards, you tend to keep pushing the line back. So I'd rather you decide where you want that line to be, lay your trimmer down and scrape inwards so that you can be more precise on where exactly it is that you want your line to be. And then continuously step back from time to time when creating your front box, just to ensure that you're moving straight across the forehead, or just to see if you need to lift it on one side more than the other. Things like that, man. Just take your time and just try to get it as straight as possible. And if you need your client to help you, look in the mirror for you. That's always a good idea. Don't get discouraged with getting your client to help you. You know, at the end of the day, we want them to be satisfied with the cut. So let them, or encourage them to give you advice or how they like their edge up, if that makes sense. Now, before using my razor, I am going to apply a little bit of our fadedculture shaving gel. Again, guys, all our products y'all can find at fadedculture.com. We have the whole shaving kit. We even have it in a bundle if y'all like to check it out. But I always apply shave gel on all the areas that I passed with my trimmer, because anything that I hit with my trimmer, I come back and follow it up with a straight razor to get it really sharp. And these are our straight razors, guys. Again, everything y'all can find at fadedculture.com. They're double-edged razors. They are really sharp. I'm really proud of them. I'm even proud of the packaging. We took our time with getting it to look as aesthetic as possible on your station. And right here, if y'all are wondering, I'm using the slide razor. We do have a slide and a Turkish razor. For this video, I'm using the slide razor. But every time I shave, guys, with the opposite hand, I place it on the back spine of that razor just to pull the skin and create tension. I never pull from the front, always pull from the back of the blade to help you create that tension. And also a good key tip is stop exactly where you left off with your trimmer. Remember, we're not really creating the edge up anymore. We're just enhancing what we created with the trimmer. And it's up to you to stop exactly where that lineup is, because these razors and with the shave gel, it's so sharp, you can easily just push the line up further than what you had initially set it up with the trimmer. And then I always reverse shave after I shaved against the hard lines. I reverse shave just to really get that hairline to look as clean as possible, and so that the shave can last a little longer. Again, just always tug on the skin. And if you're new to shaving, I recommend you get somebody to let you practice on their head, and don't use an actual razor. Just use the razor holder without an actual blade in it, so that you can get comfortable just moving around the scalp and all the areas of the face. Build that comfortability with the tool, and then you can go ahead and start practicing with an actual razor. It should be real soft, the pressure wise. The shave gel and the razors alone being so sharp is enough for it to take off the hairline really easy. And also the tension, the proper tension that you use is what's going to allow that razor to slide effortlessly on the skin. And just make sure that you have some sort of nick powder, something to stop the bleeding if you do happen to cut your client. It's okay, it's normal, as long as you're able to address it and take care of it as clean, as sanitary as possible. Because if not, they'll get infected, and that could be bad. I had a client one time that had to amputate his head. He unfollowed me from Instagram, and he just stopped being my friend. So bottom line is just be careful and have a first aid kit just in case. And this part is optional, but if y'all like to use enhancements, I encourage y'all to get our fadedculture adjustable enhancement card. It's metal, so the only enhancement card you'll ever need. You can adjust it to any angle, and just apply enhancements on I like to apply it just on the edges. My whole approach on applying enhancements is you gotta let people think, does he or does he not have enhancements? That's my approach. I like to make it look as natural as possible, but still giving it that pop, that really good hairline, sharp look. And all I do is mix 50-50 parts water and hair dye in this air compressor gun that y'all can find on Amazon, and just lightly spray it on. And then I pass it again. I'll give it another pass with the straight razor just to give it that crispy ash line that you see here. Some people like to use like a white eyeliner. In my opinion, I'm okay with just this ash line that the razor leaves behind. To me, it just looks more natural. It looks really sharp and it looks good for pictures. So at this point, guys, I'm just kind of really tweaking the hair, making all my final touches, making it look as perfect, picture perfect as possible. In my opinion, this is what separates one barber from another, how detailed and how much touch-ups you can do to really get this hair to look as perfect as possible for a picture. So after that, I'll come back in with my clippers and just touch up the fade anywhere that is needed. Make sure that you brush on the fade, make sure all the hair is brushed off, and you can better clearly see if there's any touch-ups that need to be done. The touch-up work is always going to vary depending on the head, so the idea of the touch-up work is just to get the fade to look as consistent as possible from all angles. You got to get them to look the same on both sides and on the back as well. So take a step back, pull out your phone if you need to, and then just touch up your fade till you get it to look consistent and even all the way around. So again, just take your time, guys, and this is where let the artistic person in you come out and really just have fun with it and get it to look as dope as possible. Remember, our clients are our walking billboards, so your mindset should be, I want my client to leave this chair and get a compliment. Because once they get a compliment, man, they're invested in you. They're locked in with you because that makes them feel good. So that should be your goal. Every client, make sure that when they leave, hopefully they get a compliment. And for that same reason, I like to apply product, even if they don't want it, unless they really try to stop you. But other than that, like, apply product. Even if you tell them like, hey, let me just apply product because I want to take a picture of your haircut. Most of the time they're cool with it unless they're in a rush. But yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. And after that, clean up any of facial hair. Especially if you're going to take a picture, guys. You know, offer to do the facial hair for free just because you want the whole package to look good in the picture. You don't want to take a picture of a haircut and just because the client didn't pay for the facial hair, you know, now your picture is just kind of ruined. So you got to think of things like that. Like, you got to over deliver sometimes. So again, guys, if y'all are interested in any of our products, go ahead and hit up fadedculture.com. And if y'all are interested in any of our education, if you're trying to get your barber license here in the state of Texas, y'all can come to our barber school, Faded Culture Academy. Or if y'all want to go to our online mentorship, y'all could find either of those on fadedcultureacademy.com. And in case y'all forgot what it looked like before, here it is, and here's the after. I hope y'all enjoyed this tutorial, guys, and were able to learn something from it. Let me know in the comments what y'all did or didn't like. And matter of fact, let me know in the comments what you did like about this tutorial, and I'm gonna go ahead and do a giveaway. So make sure that you leave your Instagram handle or your email, and I'm gonna choose a random comment to gift you a shave set. So it'll come with the shave gel, the razors, and the razor holder of your choice. So just leave me a comment, and I'll go ahead and pick a winner, a random winner, after 24 hours. But again, guys, my name is Sergio Barron. Y'all can follow me on Instagram, Sergio Barron _. And then make sure y'all are subscribed to the channel. And we'll see you on the next tutorial. And feel free to check out the rest of the tutorials that we have on this channel. We'll catch y'all on the next video. Peace.